It actually looks like it's running before I hit the timer. Boom, did it. Excellent. Travis, hot chocolate or hot cocoa ice cream. That's bullshit, right? You agree with me?
Wait, hold on. So, wait. There's hot ice cream now?
No, it's the flavor.
Oh,
so my wife goes to Brahms, and she gets this ice cream. It's like chocolate ice cream with marshmallows in it, but they label it hot chocolate ice cream. And she loves it.
Doesn't that require it to be hot first?
I guess not. I think it's just chocolate ice cream with mushrooms. Or not mushrooms, marshmallows.
That's something I have an issue with because, and I really irritated my manager one day with this. He had we sell tea, but it's labeled as iced tea. So my thing is, if they don't put tea there, it's not iced tea. It's just tea. Because we don't ice it, we brew it hot like you're supposed to.
So the definition of iced tea and regular tea gets weird. And I'm a tea guy. I'm like a massive tea junkie. So
you're drinking one right now.
I am drinking one right now. Like a massive hot tea. So yeah, I kind of feel you. But I think whether or not somebody ices it is on them. Because really, the only difference between iced tea and regular tea is the intensity of the tea or the concentration of the tea when you pour it into the ice. Like if you're going to make it a proper iced tea, you still brew it hot, but you make it at like a double concentration because when you pour it over the ice and it balances out, you're going to get a lot of melt. And the ice melt, and that's the appropriate way to make iced tea. I assume that's not what you guys do.
I don't know. We just brew it,
and then you probably just put it in the thing. Yeah, and then you just like keep hot tea sitting there all the time, or does it just get to room temperature?
It just gets to room temperature.
Yeah. See, that's not iced tea because by definition of iced tea, that's not iced tea.
Right. Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
I agree with you, but I don't understand how hot chocolate flavored ice cream. I mean, it is ice cream, like it's manufactured ice cream, but
how is it hot?
That's the flavor. The flavor that it's trying to give you is hot chocolate.
That's stupid.
I agree. I'm still gonna eat it.
You're gonna eat it?
I'm gonna eat the ice cream, but. It's just not because of the flavor. It's because I'm a fat pig and I love ice cream almost as much as you.
I doubt that.
I said almost. Come on now. A little respect. But this is not a podcast or video cast about ice cream, no matter how much we both love it. It is, in fact, a magical gathering of planeswalkers. I'm a planeswalker. He's a planeswalker. I'm Samus, he's Travis. This is Two Trolls and a Brew, episode 106. Hot cocoa ice cream is not ice cream. How you doing, Travis?
I'm good, man. How are you?
I'm all right. We ended up taking a week off with all of your traveling that you had to do.
Didn't we take 2 weeks off? Because that's what it felt like.
You were gone for 2 weeks. I did a show with Nathan 2 weeks ago. When you had to drop everything and come to Salina. So I did a short show with Nathan, and then I was sick when I recorded, and I never really got better. And I mean, you saw me when you were in town. Like that was my best day, I think, in the last.
Really?
Yeah. So.
That's awful.
I just kind of felt blah. And I never really was motivated if you were unavailable. So I'm glad you're back, long story short. I was just going to assume that we were going to record tomorrow. Oh my God, we both spoke at the same time, and I heard nothing.
I just said, I assume Nathan's just not as good as me.
I thought it was an enjoyable show, but I think...
I'm just trying to talk trash on Nathan.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine. You do that. I just think that Nathan is very nervous, and you've learned not to care.
What do you mean learned?
Over the course of many, many years, you have learned not to care about things. I imagine when you were a small child, you learned that you cared.
Probably.
Yeah, see? Because you were
I
silly.
don't remember that far back.
No, I'm lucky if you remember last Tuesday.
You should be lucky if I remember 2 hours ago.
Well, 2 hours ago is way harder than last Tuesday in the grand scheme of things. You know what? Before we get too deep, because our show notes are kind of short. Did you go watch Thor yet?
Oh yeah, I watched that opening night.
That was great, right?
Yeah, dude, that movie was awesome.
I rewatched Thor 1 and 2 recently, and I have gathered a new appreciation for the 1 and 2, particularly 1, after rewatching. I think we may have discussed it on the podcast once or twice before. But this third one was like very, very good. I read an article today. Apparently, Kevin Smith ripped into Thor 1 really bad on one of his podcasts, and then ripped into Thor 2 really bad on one of his podcasts. And Chris Hemsworth, aka Thor, heard those episodes of Kevin Smith's podcast and was like, "We're making changes. We're doing X and Y and Z and Q, and we are not. I'm not having him rip my ass for a third movie." So, and then Kevin Smith went to see Thor, like an early edition of it or whatever, and started tweeting about how awesome it was. And then someone's like, this is your doing, right? And he's like, I don't know what you're talking about. And they pointed to this article where Chris Hemsworth was talking about how Kevin Smith hated the first two movies.
Yeah.
So they completely changed the entire movies because Kevin Smith hated these movies. So long story short, Kevin Smith should stop doing whatever he's doing and just review movies going forward. That's all you should do.
Please review all of the Fox movies and make them hear it.
Well, I heard a rumor today, not necessarily a rumor. I read an article that Disney is trying to buy the movies back from Fox.
That's already shut down.
I heard it was in a stall, but that doesn't mean Disney's not going to go for them still. What Disney wants, Disney gets. Look at the copyright laws. It's like 65 years since that damn mouse is supposed to be off of copyright, but they still managed to make that happen.
Yeah.
Anyway, back to Magic. My troll card this week is Animation Module. This is the 1 mana artifact from Kaladesh that whenever 1 or more +1/+1 counters are placed on a permanent you control, you may pay an additional generic mana. If you do, you create a servo token. And then for 3 mana and tap it, you can choose a counter on target permanent or player and give that permanent or player another counter of that kind. This thing, I've been experimenting with this blue, green, +1/+1 counter deck to kind of take advantage of like Nissa, the gold Nissa, Panharmonicon, there we go, Panharmonicon, and like Revolt triggered guys, like the 1 mana 1/2 with Death Touch, and the 2 mana 1 that gets 2 1/1 counters, as well as like the Merfolk that explores for 2 mana, stuff like that. With the general idea is that nothing in my deck costs. I mean, I have the green Gearhulk as kind of like a da-da-da-da, but for the most part, the converted mana cost of that deck's like probably like 3.2 or something.
Okay.
So if you can get Nissa to 4, basically the top card of your deck is always legal or always viable. If you get her to 5, every card hits basically. And I was doing all sorts of nasty tricks with this animation module in playtesting on Monday. Yeah, Monday. So like, for example, I would, in response to attackers, I would add a counter to a guy and make a blocker. I would also have the ability to plus Nissa, or not plus, 0 Nissa on my turn. And then at the end of their turn, if they didn't do anything, I could add a counter to Nissa to just like tick her up.
Yeah.
So I I am very impressed with this animation module, and I'd like to continue to really push it, in particular with planeswalkers in general. I think this could be a deck. Anytime you can add additional counters to a planeswalker and make it go off early, it's generally pretty exciting. So I took Nissa from, I think, 3 all the way to alt, just off of firing off the at the end of their turn, adding a counter. And on my turn, I did nothing but 0. It was really awesome.
That's kind of impressive. +0. Okay, she's ultimate level now.
Right, exactly. So I don't know. I thought it was pretty cool. It's a card that's not seeing any play right now, and I think that it could. I think you can make something happen with it. It's also a really easy 1-drop to like slide in under the radar. Worst thing they could possibly do is spell pierce it. And are you really that hard up if they spell pierced your animation module instead of your Nissa on 3?
No.
So I don't know. But I'm really impressed with it. I'm going to see what I can do with specifically the animation modules and +1/+1 counters and Nissa and any other planeswalkers I can kind of cheat into play. Because it feels really, especially if you're like tapping it to make 1/1 guys, 1/1 counters. It feels super good. But I think like if I go ahead and I make it, if I add black and add a Mystic Snake, not Mystic Snake. I say it every time too. What is that damn
put a
thing
Mystic
called?
Snake in there.
Pretty sure that's not legal. What the hell is that thing called? Winding Constrictor?
Yes.
If I put a Winding Constrictor in there, like in tap to put a 1/1 counter, instead it gets a second one, right? It doesn't trigger it twice. Damn it, that doesn't work. I don't know. Lissai. Anyway, it's pretty fun. I ended up also at one point making like 6. No. I made a huge army. I zeroed a Nissa to flip over a Gearhulk and had a Panharmonicon down. So I was able to distribute 8 counters. And instead of playing a spell that turn, I just made 1/1 servos.
Okay.
So like I had 4 or 5 creatures without the making of the new servos to target. So like everything got a 1/1 counter, and then everything got a 1/1 counter again. And I just blew all my mana to make an army of servos. It was really good. I don't know. I think there's a lot of potential in this deck. We'll see what happens as I continue to fiddle. So that's animation module. You have deck. Not so much a troll card, a troll deck. Tell me. Weave me a story of your words.
You know how I'm always just like brewing and just like putting different decks together, like that have nothing to do with themselves, like with each other or whatever?
Yes, that is very much a you thing.
So I decided, instead of one archetype, why not do all of them?
In the same deck?
Yes.
Okay.
So I made a 60-card singleton deck.
That sounds terrible.
Surprisingly, it's not, though, which is really awful.
So give me some of the cards in this thing that should be bad.
Oh, no, there's no bad cards.
Okay.
Like, that's the thing. So, okay, there's a basic land. Well, I guess Star of Extinction's bad.
Okay, we can talk about Star Extinction in a little bit. I don't necessarily think it's bad.
The Wreckage.
Settle the Wreckage is good. Although if you have a double red and a double white card, things are getting tight.
No, it's not, because I have one of each dual land in here.
Okay.
Approach of the Second Sun.
Right, that makes sense for you.
Room Convergence.
Okay.
Prosperous Pirates.
Okay.
That's a land. I guess this could be bad Trove of Temptation. It's mainly in there so I can make sure that my land fix is there.
Okay. It's
So
probably
like
fine.
at the end of turn, it makes a token. Sunbird's Invocation.
Okay.
What the fuck? Quit talking to me.
Well,
Not
there's
you.
our F-bomb for this week.
Captivating Crew.
Okay.
Tezzeret, the Schemer.
Is that the 4-mana
Hotly.
one or the 6
Yeah,
mana one? Okay.
4 mana. Hotly, the Warrior Poet.
Okay.
Bounty of Luxa. The Locust God.
So is this just a continuation of the terrible deck that you were playing last time we spoke?
No, this is like
Because the
completely new
last time we
BS.
spoke and you were doing like this multicolor ramp into Second Sun, approach of the Second Sun deck, which we played a little bit when you were down, and it was fun, I think, and it was often very close. Like you put me in positions where I had to combo and win that turn.
Yeah.
And for the most part, I was able to do that.
Well,
but I could see somebody who didn't have a combo finish not being able to do that.
So, I mean, I understand what you're saying because there's actually 4 cards in here that were from that deck. But
Right.
no, this is just basically all rares minus like 3 or 4 cards.
Okay, so good cards are still good, is what you're taking.
Yeah. Like
Okay.
then there's Sweltering Suns, Pirate's Prize to draw, a Spell Swindle, Sifter Worm. I have Cultivator's Caravan and Manalith. Vraska, Thematic Compass, Deadeye Plunderers, Treasure Map, Nicobolus, Search for Escanta, Prophetic Prism. I'll use that one for the last card since it's probably the worst one.
Okay.
Verdant Sun's Avatar, which I found combos really well with Sandworm Convergence.
It is very good with that. I had that at the sealed.
Carnage Tyrant.
Also a reasonable card.
Then I have Deadeye Quartermaster. I mainly put it in there so I can go get the Caravan.
Okay.
Sword Point Diplomacy.
Right. It's a fine card.
Dovin Bond.
Okay.
Fumigate. Contract Killing. Bantu's Last Reckoning, and Tishana.
Okay.
The card that I set aside for the last is Samet the Tested.
That's the Planeswalker one?
Yeah, that's probably the worst card in this deck.
It's all right.
And like even still, because when I drop down Tezzeret or Nicobolus or what was the other one? Vraska, they all just kind of ignore Samet. So it's just sitting there ticking up, and then I pop it for 7 and go get 2 more either Planeswalkers or 2 big creatures that they can't interact with, and it's kind of like, okay, now what are you going to do? Well, I guess I'll just sit and spin.
So, I mean, the cards that you listed seem fine. It from here, it feels like a really good sealed pool.
Yeah. A really good sealed pool between 4 different sets.
But I mean, you know what I'm saying. Like you've got like these 2-card combos that don't win the game, but they help you to not lose the game.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it seems all right.
Well, like the thing is, it's just there's no outside of Approach the Second Sun. There's no real win condition.
I would disagree.
It's just I'm gonna do a bunch of things, and you got to answer all of them because I'm killing all the creatures too.
Sure. So let's transition here into a couple other things that kind of I think work well with what you've got there. So I think Conley last night for me had started talking about a new list, and I got to watch a little bit of it on stream. And he is actually running at the time, yeah, he's still got 2 Star of Extinctions in his list. One now in the main and one in the side. And
Okay.
I happened to tune in, like, right in time, where he tried to drop an Hour of Devastation, and the guy countered it. And then I think he did something else, and the guy was able to keep his guys around. And then Conley's like, fine. And Star Extinction, I think the guy had the white land that makes vampires once it flips over.
Yeah.
So he blew that up and killed everything. So I don't think it's bad per se. I think it is expensive, and I think it doesn't win the game. But if you're in a situation where your win condition is a sandword convergence or just outdrawing your opponent, I think that it's a fine card. So, like, if you were to tell me, hey, Sam, I'm going to build this, and this might be a color combination. If it is, you can yell, oh, it's Teamer. I'm going to build this Teamer deck, but it's mostly mana acceleration, a little bit of removal, but my win condition is going to be like 2 Sandward Convergence, and I'm going to like main deck Hour Devastation. I'm going to use Spring to Mind as some mana acceleration, and I'm going to run Star of Extinction is like my main Wrath condition. I'm just going to like skip, and have all this 2 mana or 1 mana kill spells. I'd buy it. I'd buy that for $1. After seeing it actually get used, like
right.
It was just one of those situations where it's like, okay, how many more ways do you have to save your guys? Because now we're doing 20 to everything.
Yep. And
usually they couldn't. So I don't know. I think it's in a good spot right now. I don't know how many of you want to play.
Just
it's
one.
It's very much a deck like I think a card for you. Just I could see you play like a bunch of them.
Yeah, dude, I'd put 4 in a deck.
Yeah, like for me,
yeah,
if you were to tell me I'm playing Gift of Paradise, Spring to Minds, Cultivator Caravans at 3. Everything else in the deck is like a kill spell until I get to Sandworm Convergence. I'd be like, well, that sounds like a Travis deck.
Yeah, for sure, dude.
So
let's do it. Why not a playset of Convergence?
A playset? That sounds like a lot.
No, did you? Okay, so you're doing ramp, right?
Yeah. Once you get rid of once you spring out 4 lands, and once you mind a couple of times, I don't know if you need more than like 2.
Okay, you don't need them, but all right. So like, here's the thing.
I guess they're not legendaries. Go for it, right?
Yeah, they're not legendary. Why not? Just throw a playset of those. Play the playset of the Star of Extinction and what you call it, a playset of Sifter Worms. Just get all the big things and gain 7 million life. Make them start over.
I guess. I don't know. The other thing that I think that I really like, and one of the reasons I'm actually really drawn to this strategy, is he's running Hour of Promise and Deserts for a lot of stuff.
That's what I do in my...
I know you do. And I think that's really strong. That's what I'm saying. I like those things. I'm still trying to figure out how to rebuild my Indomitable Creativity list, and I think it's got to run Hour of Promises in it, like in Deserts. I'm kind of looking at Jace now as a replacement for Nissa, because I drafted one, and I will talk about that when we get to the draft section. And it's grown on me a little bit. Fabulous Jace, it's fabulous. But
just call him by his real name, Jack Sparrow.
But yeah, I don't know. I don't know what's going on. I watched him play this list, and it looked like a lot of fun. Not what I want to play, which is rare because Conley and I usually sync up pretty well. But it looked like something I could work and has some stuff in it that I would be willing and interested to try. and see if I can make my deck do what I want it to do. But I want to play like the 6 dinosaur deck and be like, creativity, you bro. So we'll see. We'll see what happens.
And now, are 4 of these dinosaurs Carnage Tyrants?
I think I'd play 1 Carnage Tyrant. I'd have like 1 of each of the legendary ones. Right? I would have some number of the ones that give haste.
Why not all of them that give haste?
Well, but then that'd be 4.
Is it legendary?
No, the ones that give haste and make a 3/3, they're not.
Yeah, dude, have those as your like only creatures or whatever. Because then, oh man, like you hit all 4 of those and you have 28 power in play.
Right.
Yeah. Okay, so where's the downside?
I want to play the big fancy dinosaurs.
The big what dinosaurs?
The big fancy dinosaurs.
Like Gishath?
Maybe. Now I got to pull up the Gatherer all over again.
That's the Naya one?
Yes.
So you want to play the dinosaur that gives you more dinosaurs?
I want to play all the dinosaurs.
So you just want to all like the 7-drop dinosaurs?
Yes. Yes.
Even like
That's
the
what I
Thundering
want.
Fineback?
That's
the Anthem Sword?
I want a Burning Sun's Avatar. I want a Carnage Tyrant. I want, yes, the Sun's Avatar. I want, let's see, the Alphas, the Regisaur Alpha is the one that gives haste.
Oh, yeah.
And I want, I thought there's like 2 more. Maybe the Verdant Sun Avatar, just to like have infinite life when this happens. Isn't there another one?
Right.
I swear there's like another big one. Like, I don't think the Wrath Dino is necessary, per se.
So you're just going Teamer?
Yeah, I think so.
All right. So for the big red, I guess there's Sun Crown Hunter. Oh, does red really not have an explosive dinosaur?
Just the big 3-mana. What, the Burning Sun Avatar? Like I said, I thought there's a bigger one. I don't know. I don't think this deck will exist until Rivals, because I don't know if you've looked at spoilers, which is on the list of things to actually talk about. 2 cards have been spoiled.
The big 12-12.
The big 12-12.
Oh my god, I'm so excited to play that with what you call it, Metalwork Colossus.
I figured that's what you were gonna say. I really did. I thought that'd be like, "Rawr, how many 12-12s for 2 can I play?"
Here's this 11-11, and then I'll pay 3 higher. Here's a 12-12. Answer me, son.
That's right. Yeah, I figured like one of that guy. So I imagine we're gonna get a few more super sweet dinosaurs that I could throw in the list. But yeah, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. Also, the other spoiler is Silver Guild Adept is back, which I think is really exciting.
Oh yeah. Plus, you got that promo art for it, so you know that thing's gonna go for a lot.
Yeah, I don't really care about that art.
Well, the thing is, there's a lot of legacy and modern fish players, so they're
making your deck special is a thing, I guess. I don't know. Like I said, I'm trying to figure it out. Like, there's also the possibility that maybe this deck is not blue. Like, maybe it doesn't need Jace. Maybe instead it runs white for like the Queen's Call of the Queen's Guard or whatever it is, and like the flip enchantment
tokens.
Yeah.
Okay.
Again, I like the idea of using Jace to do that, but it may not work out. It may just have to be Naya instead. And if so, then the Wrath Dinosaur suddenly is good, right?
you also have the like servo schematic and Shram's expertise,
Right.
so that way you can make creatures. So you can like dig, dig, dig.
Right. Exactly. So yeah, I
I
think
can
there's
see
some
that one.
options.
Naya explosions.
Yeah, like Naya token dinosaur get you. Where again, the only creatures in the deck would be some combination of the dragon with haste and the dinosaur with haste, and maybe one or two other dinosaurs that get haste when you like go off.
Okay.
So that's the deck I'm going to tinker around with here in the coming weeks. In addition to putting together the new take on Godfarrow's Gift. But before we get to that, let's talk about draft. Now that you've been home for a while, also, did you get a draft? You did draft. No, you didn't. What
I
did you do when
drafted
you were
on
here?
Monday. Oh, what did I do when I was there?
Yeah.
Nothing.
Okay.
'Cause I showed up
thought,
Saturday night.
yeah, you like just missed the cube draft on Saturday,
Yeah.
and then we played
And then
Werewolf like super late, and then I don't think I saw you again before you left.
no, because so Sunday I went to the like Sunday and Monday I was in Manhattan for the viewing and the funeral. And then Tuesday I just basically stayed at I came back Monday night, didn't feel like doing anything for obvious reasons. Um Tuesday me and Joe just dicked around all day because that's what we do. And then I went and got food with my mom. And when I say I went and got food, I mean she came and picked me up, and then I ate food at her house.
Okay. I was
And then
expecting you to like. Then we went to the grocery store, and I carried the food in for her, and she took me back to Joe's house, and she left.
oh, I would not do that. I'd be like, no, you're feeding me now. I stood up.
So I got to draft last week, and the deck was good. I think it was fine. I ended up going 3-1, and I went in with the idea that I wanted to draft the blue any color deck. Like I wanted to take. Basically, I took any card that had make a treasure on it super high.
Yeah.
And then I just took every sweet bomb, right? Like that was my plan. Well, it turns out not only was the guy I feeding also moved into blue, the guy next to him was in blue, and then the guy 2 seats down from me was in blue, and I think somebody else in between those two. Like there are 4 or 5 blue drafters at the table. Where any other week, right, that I don't go in with the plan that I want to be the blue drafter, blue's the most open freaking deck in the planet.
Yeah.
So
all right, so here's a new strategy. You should announce what you're going to draft here on the show, so that way when they watch it, they have an idea what you're doing, and then do something completely else.
sure. Well,
Also, anybody in Solana that drafts with him, ignore my plan for him, and just do whatever you're going to do.
Right. Well, so the thing is like I usually try to draft what's open, right? I try to float and do stuff. But my opens in the first few picks, because, like I said, at least the blue drafter that was feeding me was at least 2 seats down. Right?
Yeah.
So I probably had 6 picks. No, not that many. Because I think we had 10 people at the draft last week because we had to go 4 rounds. So let's say 5 packs where I had basically first or second pick realistically of the blue cards. So I had really good blue cards in pack 1 and then again in pack 3.
Mm-hmm.
Plus my rares were just like on point, right? Like I think I got in pack 2, I got Fabulous Jace.
Sparrow?
Huh? Fabulous Jace? Yes, Fabulous Jace Sparrow. Yes, Fabulous Jace Sparrow. But basically it like my deck came together and I'm like, oh man, I can't believe I'm gonna 4-0 this draft, no problem. And then I sat down with the guy who got like the aggressive red-white vampire deck, and just I kept reasonable hands. It's like, well, if I get a third land, I'll just go off like whatever, and I don't need a third land till like turn 4, so it's fine. I'll probably, I got 16 lands, 17 lands in my deck still with my 2 and my keep. Like, it's fine. I can do this, and just like never see another land. Or
Right.
like a 5-card 3 lands, and I'm like, sweet, this is awesome. And then my opponent goes to like land 9, and I just never see another non-creature or another non-lands again. Just like, here you go, just lands for days. I felt like any time that I actually got to play, I won. But I just lost to not having anything. That's not the thing I want to talk about. The thing I want to discuss is how often does it seem like if you have a plan, people are in your deck. I know the last time we spoke, it seemed like whoever I'm feeding somehow also gets in my deck. But this time, it like everybody wanted to be blue.
So now this is going to be completely unmagic related. Have you ever heard of the theories of collective consciousness?
I have a lot, actually.
Do you happen to believe in that? Like, and do you think that would be any sort of possibility as to why sometimes players all pick up on the same thing?
So, the theories that I think are most valuable.
Philosophical BS. Here we go.
Okay, so the theories of collective unconsciousness that I have been the most, I think, have the most evidence behind them, are more of like you tap into that in certain states of meditation or for certain skill sets.
Mm-hmm.
So like the last paper I read was that like Nikola Tesla, for example, his ability to tap into the collective unconsciousness was like super high, because he would describe how he would like he never felt like he invented anything. Right? Like when he invented something, it was like I just sat there and I saw everything, every detail of it, all the way down to, from every nut all the way up to the micro or the macro or whatever. Like I understood every aspect of it, and it just kind of like all came to me at once, and then I just built it. Right? So that's how Nikola Tesla, for example, spoke, which is where a lot of these people are like, well, see, this is obviously the collective consciousness departing information to him from somewhere. So that I think is probably the most, to me, the case that gives me the most faith that could be something real. Having 8 Magic players sit around the table and 5 of them decide to all be in the same deck. Again, there's only 5 colors, right? There's only really so many decks at the table.
Right.
But the guy, again, two upstream and 1 downstream, and then skip a person, and then that guy. Like it, I just feel like it's random. People not reading signals. Like I don't know how the people that down from me moved into blue at all. Like I don't think I passed the blue card pack 1. I just took every blue card. I don't even think I took no removal pack 1. Because if there was a choice between a blue card and I just took the blue card.
Right.
And in pack 3, pretty early, I was like, man, I really need some Prosperous Pirates. Like, that's the 1/4 that makes a treasure.
Oh, that's a Sailor of the...
Sailor means. That's the one.
Yeah.
So that's where I got the Sailor means. And then in the same pack was the red-blue pirate that if you had triggered the raid or whatever, then you draw a card and discard a card.
Yeah, the looter.
The looter. And I was just like, of course, the card I want for my deck is in the same pack with one of the payoff cards that I want to actually have. right? So that's like one of the first times I felt like I passed a good blue card as opposed to just trash. So I don't know what the people downstream from me were thinking. So with that in mind, it's totally possible that they were just like picking up on my brain waves and were like, well, we're drafting blue tonight. You know? But I think it's people who either also come into play with a preconceived notion or poor at picking up signals. But either way, it's 2 drafts in a row that I got to play with Fabulous Jace Sparrow. And the first draft 2 weeks ago or whatever it was, not good. I didn't like him.
No.
That was in the cube draft. And this week, though, he was absolutely phenomenal. He drew me a bunch of cards. He made an army of 2/2s. Like, he did everything he wanted, and nobody wanted to attack him. They're like, that Jace is terrible. And I'm just like, attack you with a Menace Pirate? Or activate Jace, attack you with a Menace Pirate? I'll take 3. Draw, discard?
Yeah.
Attack you with a Menace Pirate. Activate Jace, attack you with a Menace Pirate? They're like, well, we're in a racing situation. I do not care about Jace at all. Okay.
You wouldn't be in a racing situation if you took care of Jace.
Well, but I was only attacking with the Menace Pirate. So, like, they're like, well, we're going to trade 3 for 4, and I'm going to win the race. And I'm just like, I'm going to trade 3 for 4, but I'm going to draw, like, twice as many cards as you and deal with all your crap. So.
Yeah.
And then eventually I got to one point where I was dead next turn, but I had enough blockers or enough attackers to kill them. And I had 2 of the merfolk that taps all their guys when they come into play. I'm just like, I'm just going to dig for this card. And then I found it, and then I realized that I had 2 other ways to win in my hand in addition to that guy. So I'm like, well, I can kill you in 1 of 3 ways. How do you want to die? He's like, well, what are my options? What are my options? And I'm like, well, I can tap all your dudes and attack you for 15. It's like, okay. Or I can do this and remove this blocker, this blocker, and this blocker, and attack you for 12. You know, and I just like listed off all the ways. And then after the fact, I was like, oh, and I could also XYZ and kill you. He's like, oh, that way it would have been way cooler. So I don't know. But yeah, people just ignored him. He's got the reputation for being bad, so people don't respect him. I don't know, I thought he was fine. Anyway, your draft. How did it go? And what was it in a nutshell?
It went, I took 3rd. And it was, we all collectively agreed that we're doing a rotation now. So, like for the first month that the set comes out, every Monday, you know, we do the drafts on Monday. So like the first month, it's going to be nothing but the new set. And then after that, we start rotating like the set before, back to the new set. And then like we keep cycling, right? So we did the Almond Cat block. And I ended up in green-white. I mean, that's what I ended up with. I'm not questioning that. But it wasn't really anything. I just had 2 overcomes.
That's good. I get some work done.
Yep. So it's basically just like...
This week, I'm doing an Almond Cat draft. I'll have to dust off my Almond Cat.
Okay. Well, I mean, so for me, it was basically just like, all right, I guess I'm going to take every creature that ramps, and then just build an awful board state of just like dirtly dudes, and then overcome. And that's what I did. And people are like, because I got So it was what? It was a pack one. It was between some rare that I can't remember and Oketra's Monument.
Oh yeah,
Cool
Monument's great.
deck. And then uh because it was more Chaos Amonkhet and or Chaos Amonkhet, so it's like you can pick any combination of the cards that you wanted or packs that you wanted.
Okay.
Yeah, so there's like no real synergy. We're just kind of like, oh well, hope for the best. Um, but it was so yeah, pack one it was Oketra's Monument, and then pick two it was Overcome. I'm like, all right, well, I guess I'm doing this now. And I mean, I took third, so
Sounds like
it
you
was
were
all right.
robbed.
Uh,
Two overcomes and a monument. Probably you got robbed.
yeah, well, it was more. I flooded out one game against him. The second game, it was just, hey, look, I curve out perfectly. And then the third game was sweet, stuck on two lands, and he killed my 2-drop that. So,
I feel you.
you know,
Like I
it's
said,
like I
that's a
can't,
lot of stuff. That's a lot of what was going on with me.
yeah, like I can't be mad at it. It was pretty good.
Well, speaking of can't be mad at it, I want to talk about this. First of all, congratulations, Chef Manfield. I'm sure he's not listening, but in the odd opportunities that he does trickle in here, good job, buddy. I did watch the top 8 of the Pro Tour, and it was so aggravating. I don't know. You obviously are a sports guy, so I don't
Yeah.
know how often this happens to you, but like the deck I wanted to see win versus the player I wanted to see win. Right? So like I was rooting for Seth because I like Seth. I
Yeah.
like him a lot. I like his content. He does stuff over at TCG Player. I think it's awesome. I think he does a really good job, and I like him a lot. A lot of his decks sync up with what I'm thinking as well. I feel like he's kind of got that similar mind thought. I was completely in love with his blue-white Panharmonicon a few standards ago to kind of like battle all of the not Delve, what is it called? That had the new 1313 monster. That had the types.
Oh, hell.
Like the best card was Transverse the Uvenwald.
Yeah, Delirium.
The Delirium decks. Running not a chroma. Stupid
Yeah, dude, a
brain.
Chroma.
Whatever. The big spaghetti monster
A
in the
Chroma,
sky.
Delve. Yeah, we're in the right set.
That's right. No, all completely in place. I really liked his list for that particular standard for a while. So like if they took your turn, you're just like, here you go, have fun, figure it out, have a blast.
Yep.
I really liked that deck a lot. So I was rooting for him, but then somewhere in the top 8, they were talking about deck lists, and Pascal Maynard's. I don't know if I actually Facebooked you. I think I did. His list was so good, so much better than all the other Godfarrow's Gift lists that I saw leading up to the Pro Tour because of a super small change.
Okay.
Taking Godfarrow's Gift up to a 4 of and running 4 Refurbish with 4 Chart to Course and 4 Strategic Planning. So it was a reanimation deck. It was a reanimator. It wasn't like all the other ones that I've seen where they have like 1 God's Pharaoh gift or maybe 2 if you're really lucky.
Right.
This thing was just insane. And the win card or the win more card or whatever you want to call it is Angel Intervention, which is another card I've been trying to play. If you just play it for 5 mana, you know, it's fine. It's okay. But if you turn that back to life off of the God Pharaoh's Gift, you have a 4/4 flying haste, vigilance, lifelinker that could make 2 dudes, or instead is a 6/6. Like that's huge. So So I really liked that a lot. I really liked the interaction with Angel Invention with Championowitz. I thought that was super sexy, where it's like, well, I guess I'm going to draw 5 and discard 2. So, I don't know. I was rooting for this deck, but I was rooting for Seth. Like, if Seth was playing this deck, I think it would have been the dream come true. So I'm in the process of putting this together. Send me some God Pharaoh's gifts, Travis. I need 3.
On that.
You'll get right on that?
Yeah.
I've set cards aside and given them to you, Big Daddy. Hook a brother up.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I agree with you. You did do that.
So God Pharaoh's Gifts and Search for Azcanta are the 2 main cards that I'm missing out of this thing. But the deck feels really sweet. Watching it play seems really sweet. It's got all sorts of card selection. And it runs cats, sacred cats.
Yep.
Meow.
I mean, why wouldn't it?
I don't think they're great.
Get out. You're fired.
But listening to how he describes them, he just is this huge deck of like 1-mana roadblocks, like chump for a turn. Like if he chumps with a sacred cat and saves 2 damage and then gains a life and then recasts it the next turn and does it again, like that's all he wants out of his 2 mana. When I think of a card like that, I would like more than that, but he was cool with it.
What are you talking about? You save yourself 4 damage plus you gain 2 life. What else do you want in a control deck?
This is not a control deck, it's a combo deck.
Yeah, what's the difference?
I don't know. It feels odd to me. Probably a holdover from the fact that the previous versions that I had looked at had 4 of the Pouncers and 2 Sacred Cats.
Yeah.
As opposed to the other way around. But again, I think that like a 4-power double striker seems a lot stronger to me than a 4-power lifelinker. I don't know. But yeah, it's good. It's a lot of fun, and I'm looking forward to trying this. I'm also missing an Angel of Sanctions. That's okay. I'll figure it out. Travis.
I believe in you.
I don't know. Anything else that you would like to add, subtract, multiply, divide, find the square root of?
No. I don't really like squares.
It's not easy being square.
It's also not easy being green.
Oh. Well, you can check out this and all past episodes, issues, variations thereof. This podcast at samusgarobo.com. You can send us an email to trollsbrew@gmail.com. I completely forgot to check the email today. So if there's email sitting in the inbox from you, we'll get to it next week. Also, I'd like to point you at twitch.tv/samusgarobo. It's an awesome place to go if you'd like to support this podcast and various other things. You can see me live, and you can watch Travis there very rarely. And hopefully we'll start playing more Magic soon. I just got to get a few more dollars. Lastly, you can check us out at Twitter, TurtlePower319, or Samus Garobo. I guess I should also, just real fast, YouTube.com/Samus Garobo if you'd like to watch the podcast. We record via Google Hangouts, so you can, and I put the episodes live as soon as I record them, so you can watch them live and be part of the show. You can chat in the live chat, or you can, go back and watch them later, rewind them. Sometimes Travis's pretty face is what makes the show. Like, he's really enthralled by this box.
Yeah, well, you know what they say. Boxes are magical, and that's why guys love them.
Is that a troll on moment right there?
Troll
Oh my
on.
god. Troll on, everybody.